Well, I mean, you know, on tour, there are always, you know, some shady promoters, and you know, if it happens to be one of those off nights where he doesn't pull a crowd, you know, the money's not there, it's always funny to see the artists, road managers, all rushing at the same time to try to find a promoter to get whatever little dough he do have at the moment. So they're rushing to find him. Like, well, look, you know, my artist is set to go on right now. So I mean, if you just give me that, I can go ahead and take them to the venue right now. So everybody, road managers, rushing to find a promoter to get whatever he do have. You know, like it may not be the whole stack. It's probably just the little twos and fews. But yeah, give me that right now. And you know what I mean? I'll take my artist to the venue now. You know, it's always funny to see that, man.
Somewhere in Minnesota, you know, I drive to all my shows, right? So my peoples met me in Minnesota. But what I did, I stopped like what I thought was like a half an hour from the state where we was performing at, right? Me and wifey chilling in a little hotel. So my man P.I. called me. He like, yo, Rob, man, listen, G, I don't know, you know, how far you are from here, but the promoters, you know, they starting to flip like you ain't gonna make it to the show. So he asked me first, yo, Rob, man, I'm not gonna sit here too much longer and listen to these dudes beef. You know what I mean? You know, if it's on, it's on. So I said, yo, P, man, give me a little time, let me get there, man, and whatever you wanna do from that point, that's what we gonna do, man. You know what I mean? If we gotta cancel the show and get busy with these dudes, whatever, man. Not only was I like an hour and a half from the state that we was performing in, me and wifey pull out the parking lot, and all of a sudden I hear something going, get out the car, the tire flat. Now I got the 3-piece rims on the Benz Jeep, so it's like, you know, you can't pull over and they'll fix my flat for me. I'm looking at the tire, I hear, you know, this funny sound, you know, 3-piece rims, what happens, the air will come out the rim itself. So there's no hole in the tire, so I'm sitting there bugging like, yo, come on, man, this can't be happening, man. I called dude up, make a long story short, he come through, sweep the truck for me. I rent a little rented car. We shoot out to the joint. I'm late as hell now. So I get up to the joint. I see everybody in the parking lot. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? Show was supposed to go on like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Get up in the joint. You know, it's a couple more people inside. Dude come over to me like, "Bye, you know, I know it's a little, you know, it's a little people, you know, a little bit of people in here, but if you can do the show to make things, you know, real smooth, so it won't be no riot in here." So I'm like, all right, whatever, my brother. You know what I mean? He's like, you know, I'll hit you with X amount of paper, do 1 or 2 songs, and we good. I had a show with this dude the next day somewhere else in Minnesota, right? But he like, yo, don't worry about it, do a couple records. I hit you with X amount, you know, it wasn't a full amount because I missed the show, but all right, cool. My man Bill Blast like, all right, Rod, here go the mic, do a couple joints. Bill Blast, rest in peace too, man. It's like, all right, Rod, yo, everything set, do a couple joints, get up on stage. You might plan to do a couple records. You get up there, it's like, yo, throw another one on, throw another one on. We get up there, I do like 9 songs. Get off the stage. Dude tell my man Bill Blast, like, yo, we give him the money tomorrow. So he looking up at this big dude, he like, yo, you sure tomorrow? Yo, I'll give it to you tomorrow. So Bill Blast come tell me, yo, wow, dude said tomorrow. I'm like, nah, my G, dude told me tonight, man. He gonna hit me with X amount of paper, and not only that, did like 9 songs for this dude, man. Tell my dude, give me my paper tonight, man. Yo, Blast run over to him, talk to him, come back. Yo, bye, he said he promised he got us tomorrow, man. Look at my man P.I. P.I. already ready to give it to these dudes, you know what I mean? So I'm walking over to him, boom, boom, boom. Big kid standing over there by the door. I go over there, I look up at him, I'm like, yo, my dude, with that paper, my G. They said they was gonna hit me with X amount, boom, boom, boom. Yo, we gonna get that to you tomorrow, man. Boom, he looking down at me, man. I'm standing there with my G and my wifey next to me. You ain't giving me nothing tomorrow, my dude. You gonna give me that tonight, man. Hey, yo, boom, 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 boom. Looked around, wifey had a bottle of Moe. Now, it's on now. It's now or never. It's either we gotta jump this dude, me, P.I., and my wife, or I'm not getting my paper, and you know what I mean, things gonna look like real soft, man. My G, so what you telling me? You ain't gonna give me my paper? Nah, yo, I got you tomorrow. I said, yo, if I gotta grab that bottle of Moe, stand on a table and bust you in your head to get my paper, my dude, that's what I'm ready to do. So at this point, yeah, my heart beating a little bit, cause I'm gonna have to bust this dude in the head, man. So get real quiet. So now I'm looking out the corner of my eye, making sure that bottle's still on the pool table. This kid look at me. He said, yo, you know what? I'm like, yeah, let me bust this thing right now before you know what I mean? He said, yo, you know what? I'm gonna go get you your money, man. Cause ain't no little nigga ever talk to me like that, man. I'm gonna go get you your money, man. He turned around, walked away. I was like, phew. It was about to be on and pop. But yo, for all you little dudes out there, man, don't let them big cats chump nothing, man. Half of them cats straight, you know what I mean? But to that dude, man, you know what I mean? You know what it is. No disrespect, baby Paul, but I got to get mine just like you was getting yours that night, my G. You heard?
Yo, here's a wild story from our house shoe days. Tip, Chris Lighty, Jungle Brothers, it was nuts. The earlier years, us running behind Red with the Violators, that kind of let everybody already know, like, nah, they ain't really the ones. They some real ghetto-ass little motherfuckers. So, I mean, I remember back in the days, though, one good story was, I mean, it was a bunch of us. It was probably around our house shoe height. And, I mean, we was doing like 3 and 4 shows a night at that time. Like, we would do Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. So I remember we might have started in Brooklyn or Queens, and we went to maybe the Bronx, and then I remember the third show that night. It was in Manhattan. It was at 1018, and 1018 was the old Roxy's, and it was all of us. I mean, it was all the Jungle. I remember Tip was with us. I mean, we had probably about 12 dudes with us. This is another Chris Lighty incident. We fighting to get in the club. We going through the staircase, through the entrance. People's like, yo, who the fuck are y'all? Why y'all getting to go to the front? Why y'all getting to go to the front? So we start pushing. Q-Tip catches it. Caught a good one. So by that time, the whole door rushed in, and we ran in the club, and Chris was pissed. He was hot, and he was like, nah, we gonna find that motherfucker. He's like, yo, y'all motherfuckers gotta go on stage, though. So we got on stage, we rocked. We were still looking for him. So by the time we found him, we had anteed up. We was getting ready to go. So she's like, yo, we gotta go to the next show. We anteed up and going out. We seen him, and now I'll never forget, it was me and Sammy standing together. Tip was probably in front, and Chris was like kind of lurking around, and we had probably about 12 dudes behind us. Everybody kind of walking slow out. We spotted him. Chris was like, yo, there he is. Yo, Tip, you better hit him. Yo, Tip, you better hit him. Yo, Tip, hit him. Went down, and it was off to the races from there. But that was mad funny. Chris, boy, he had a trigger on that wrist. That's all you hear. And then at the end of the night, yo, you seen that? Yo, he's definite headbanger, but never really had no problems on the road. I think all the New York stories got out by the time we really hit. Even early on, because early on we was hanging out in Latin quarters and all of that, so people was like, oh, you know, this, that. Yeah, Chris was the one that clipped him, because Tip was a little slow on the draw.
Worlds. We were able to benefit from Bob being in the industry in terms of spreading our show out, but there was also a barrier between me and that industry that Bob kind of controlled, until, of course, people got my number and I became known in the industry. But by the time people had access to me, the show had already established its MO, and which was that you couldn't promote to us. So people knew how to get in touch with Bob. Bob would be like, yo, I'll pass the information along, I'll give Stretch the record, but I can't tell if he's gonna play it or not. And so in terms of industry shenanigans and BS, I really feel like we were insulated. We didn't really have to deal with that. And I think also because of what we created, we also had the respect. Because now people who work at labels, they know they got to do the BS. They got to promote records. Sometimes they're great, and when the record's great, you don't got to do much work. But when your record's whack, you gotta make deals. I'll give you this. Yeah. I'll make sure the artist comes to your show. I'll give you 10 test pressings, whatever they got to do. But I think that with our show, there was such a respect for what we did that we almost got a pass from promoters. And with the exception of 1 or 2 instances, which are in the film, we didn't really have to deal with it. I don't remember. I mean, for the most part, I've got very fond memories of promoters because they were never a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that just made me think, and I haven't thought about this in a long time. In 1989, I started at Def Jam, and like within 3 months, I became the college rep, and it was like a new sort of label at Def Jam because it had been done lightly beforehand, but it had never really been done like as a full-time position. Because the label was the label in the 80s and 90s, I want to being one of those spokespersons within the industry to protect it. And then when we got on the radio, even more so, because I was the only person that I can remember that did promotions and was on college radio at the same time. And so I think that was another level of insulation, in that promoters from the different labels, they couldn't really try to run the trickery or, the pressure on us, because I was one of them, and I think aside from our show having this sort of like pure approach to hip hop that no one wants to spoil, that was another level of like, yo, chill, like this is not the place for it. But the other thing that's in real detail that I haven't thought about in a long time was that I was a moderator for a CMJ panel with Albie Ragusa from Tommy Boy, I think Jeff Sledge from Wild Pitch, I think, in either 89 or 90. And it was the moment that CMJ decided to start a rap chart where college radio stations wouldn't just submit their top 10 songs, but top 10 rap songs. And I said at that meeting, like, yo, to everyone here, like, don't get caught up in the number. We don't want to create this sort of facade of what's the best record, similar to like what happens in the Billboard charts, where record labels were like, paying for spots, and a record would go number one. It really wasn't the hottest record, and I was like, because the beauty of college radio was, yo, we're doing this, no one's getting paid for this. And I said that, and yet you had promoters afterwards like pressuring college radio DJs, like, yo, give me that number one for this week, because they knew that like if they got a record to number one, it would look good to their bosses and everything. And luckily I was at Def Jam, all our records were number one. We didn't have to worry about chart numbers, and Russell and Lior were very supportive in me just being an honest promoter, and that's, I think, what endeared me to a lot of the college radio DJs. In 92 and 93, I got voted college rap radio promotions person of the year by the Gavin Report, which is a trade publication.
Simultaneous to us getting
in the same 2 years,
rap show of the year 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So we were just, we basically were running.
It seemed like double dipping.
But
conflict of interest.
Yeah, but nah, we had it. We had it. We had a stronghold